Top five, top five, top five.
Topical back with another video. I'm Strange Wang. He is Nate. Today we're doing top 5 thrillers from the 2010s for Don't Breathe 2 because it came out in the 2010s. I believe you said 20.
Well, the first one did.
Stupid.
2016.
Yeah, 2016. That's when the first one came out. That's just why we're doing this list. But he's going to tell you how we do our list and about our social media and where it is located.
It's true. It's located in the description box. So if you scroll down, pop that up, you'll find links to all our social media accounts. If you want to give us a follow on there, you also find links to our coffee account and our Patreon account. So if you would like to help us out and get some better shit. One day I'm just going to post a picture of what this looks like on Instagram, which hopefully you followed in the description box below. And you can see why you donating money through the coffee or joining the Patreon would be extraordinarily helpful to us. If you don't know how we do our top fives, he's going to start off with his 5 and 4. I'll give my 5 and 4, 3, 2, 3, 2. We trade off number ones. And we also have something called the Zemeckis rule, which is just if we both have the same movie on our list, but one person has it 2 spots or higher, we just won't talk about it until we get to it on theirs.
Yeah, so I'm going to start off with my number 5. Honestly, it could have been like 7 movies in the spot.
Yeah.
3 of them being Jake Gyllenhaal movies, which I did settle on one being a Jake Gyllenhaal movie, and it's Enemy.
Okay.
Because I try to be as purely thriller as possible.
Okay.
So this fit the mold. Because it has that mystery element to it of Jake Gyllenhaal. He keeps seeing himself in places. And he's trying to find out who this other person is. And he finds them and they're terrible. So you have this, just takes you on a ride. And the psychology behind it is one of those thrillers when you watch it. You haven't seen it, so I'm trying not to ruin it for him.
It's true, I haven't.
Because he needs to watch it. It's one of those thrillers. When you get done, you've seen it on Thursday, you're still thinking about it the next Thursday.
I like
And
those.
the Thursday after that.
Yeah.
So it's one of those movies that stays with you. It has something to say about the human mind, body, and soul. And it's just overall a phenomenal movie and a must watch because I like a good mind fuck. So it's a good mind fuck. It's a good thriller. That's what you need in a thriller. You need to be on the edge of your seat. You need to be like, I just experienced something. And this is that. Which, to me, is a good thriller. So, it's the most thriller-ish movie of the 5 or 6 that was behind. But my number 4 is one that had me going breathless. Oh, I should probably say it because I think it's going to be a Zemeckis, but it's Ex Machina.
So, when we were talking about, how we decided, I just think sci-fi when I think of that.
Okay.
So, I ended up not putting it on my list. I really wanted to.
Okay.
But it's we were trying to stick to things that, what do you think of when you think of thriller? And my number 5 is, almost, going to be me countering my own point. But I left Ex Machina out just because of how, when I think of that, I just think of sci-fi. But I love sci-fi, so.
Well, I think that's the whole thrilling part of it is sci-fi because we've seen 100,000 movies before. Technology is not our friends when it comes to cinema.
That's true.
So you have the mark of being on the edge of your seat on whether is this robot going to turn against the humans in this film, which one of them is kind of well deserved, but he's unhinged too. Oscar Isaac's character, he's unhinged. You don't know what the fuck he's going to do.
That's true.
He'd
be dancing and
yeah,
shit.
he might smack you. He might do a fucking dance number. He might be singing on the wrist. Who fucking knows what this guy's going to do? So I think just because of all the unhinged characters and our main character, our protagonist, really is the viewer, the audience. You're in his shoes.
Yeah.
Which puts you on the edge of your seat. And watching this, it reminded me of the first time I watched Jaws.
That there's impressive.
Because my investment was through the roof. And it wasn't about these characters, even though I did care about 2 of the characters. But it was more the situation. I needed to know where the situation was.
Yeah.
And like a good thriller, I was on the edge of my seat. I was this far away from the TV screen. 2 weeks later, I'm still thinking about how good the movie was.
Because there's just so many other ways that it could have turned out, right?
Because it's different from other thrillers because it's you're really relying on these 3 people in this one, people as in cyborg, robot, whatever it is, in this house, and what are they going to do? And that's the whole thing. You don't know. So to be so limited and use it to maximum effectiveness blew me away.
Yeah, very good. So my number 6, I went with Wind River.
I really it's a good movie, but I don't
I know you don't.
So overrated when it came out. So it's like, ugh.
Was it?
To me, it was.
Well, see, I feel like I didn't watch it until a good bit down the road.
That's probably why.
I find it very thrilling and interesting. A lot of mystery elements to it, which that inherently makes a good thriller, whether it's a literal mystery or whether what is happening is the mystery to the audience, like you were talking about with Ex Machina. I enjoyed all the performances. I really like the setting because it's
cold.
It's very cold, but it's really harsh, right?
Yeah, it makes for good cinematography.
Because it's just the setting is almost its own bad guy in a way, because it makes it
obstacle.
It makes it harder for them to move around. It makes survival difficult. There's that imminent threat of it erasing the tracks that they need to follow to figure this stuff out. And so honestly, I think that's kind of what pushes it onto the number 5 spot for me, is just because that setting is cool and it's a really good story as well.
Yeah.
With a really satisfying ending.
Yeah. Solid crime thriller. One thing before you go to number 4, I really don't like the cast of that movie either. I felt like that was Hollywood, the producers and the studio saying, these are the actors you're using.
Yeah.
If you want this movie made.
They were trying really hard to make Jeremy Renner a thing.
And I wasn't feeling it.
And I think that's the only non-MCU movie that I really like Jeremy Renner in that much that I can immediately think of. But my number 4, I don't know if you've ever seen it. I guess this is the one that I meant is really more so kind of pushing that boundary of do you really think of thriller? Because it's kind of a political thriller, but by the end of the movie, it's kind of shifted away from that a little bit, even though the motives are all still political. But it's the Ides of March.
No, I ain't never seen that.
Oh, you should. It's a very good movie. Ryan Gosling, Clooney, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
I know what you're talking about. It's the one with the Time magazine cover. Yeah.
Nobody talks about that movie. And it has an 86 on Rotten Tomatoes, which is pretty good. I think it deserves low 90s.
Really?
But it's so it's very House of Cards-ish without Kevin Spacey. Which that makes it better now that we know. But it's also a movie instead of a TV show.
Yeah.
But it's I guess what I love about it so much is it's very condensed. So it's not this big broad thing that's going on. It's literally just a bunch of people worried about their careers. But then there's these kind of the problems that causes by them screwing other people over ends up adding the thriller element to it. And it's done really, really well. And I really like the tone of it as well. It's a very dark, kind of slow burn tone, which I'm a big fan of.
I'll have to check it out, indeed. My number 3 might be a Zemeckis, or it might be your number 3, or it might not even be on your list. I don't know. I try to as I said before, the most thrillers, try to get the subgenres out of the way, but I couldn't help. This movie's too good, and it's Gone Girl.
That is a Zemeckis.
Yeah, crime thriller, subgenre. Number 2.
It's debatable.
The newest movie on my list. Parasite. I know you're not a huge fan of this movie.
I like it. It didn't feel very thrilling to
You
me.
didn't watch it with everyone else. That's what I like. I'm trying. You saw it 2 months after?
Maybe. It's a really good movie, and I think that it deserved what it won, but it just wasn't very thrilling.
I think that's the thing for me though. It's just it's like the old Mike Tyson quote. Everyone's got a plan until you get punched in the mouth. And I'm on this ride, and I really like these characters. And I really like where the story's going, and the classism and everything it has to say. I'm on board, and then it gets to that last 45 minutes, and we find out.
I think it's less than that.
Whatever it is, there's been a man living underneath this house, and just the whole thing of him slashing motherfuckers up, and everything, and then how they have to escape. And that whole scene of just like everything so slow and methodical, and the placement of the characters. Because like when something happens, you don't know where this person is, you don't know where this, because they're all scattered. It's just like, oh my god, I like these characters so much now. How did they get out of this? How are they in this situation? And it's just mind blowing to think about because you weren't expecting it. Like Mike Tyson said, the plan was going. I was going with the plan, and then I got punched in the mouth, and now I don't know what to do. Don't know how to act. And because of that, I think it had more of an impact on me than me going into a thriller knowing it's a thriller.
Maybe I did not have the ending. I didn't know anything about that movie when I watched it.
Neither did I.
Oh, I know, but I'm saying like even though I watched it later.
But you knew it was as hyped as it was. Well,
I just knew it was supposed to be a really good South Korean movie that has undertones about classism. And when I found out a homie in the thing, I was like, huh.
That's cool.
It just didn't hit me like that. It just...
I'm on the hype train.
Yeah, I'm glad you are. And I'm all about it. It just... I wish that it had been like that for me. It just wasn't.
Well, that's unfortunate.
All right, so my number 3 is going to be my Gyllenhaal for the list, and it's going to be Nightcrawler. It's like, how's that not on your list?
So proud of you.
You love that movie.
I put that more in a crime element.
How?
Because
there's crime happening, but like that's not what it's about.
Like that to me, that movie's not thrilling. It's more of just watching this psychopath
Really?
do crazy shit.
This movie was way more intense to me than Parasite was.
I mean, I love that movie. That performance is everything.
It's amazing. Yeah, I mean, I find it super tense because of how like obviously nuts this dude is. So it's like every freaking scene is just like, is he gonna go off the rails and do something crazy, or like are we just gonna have this tension-filled scene expecting it to, and then it ends up being fine?
I think
because there's a good mix of the two.
Yeah, I think because I've seen it like 7 times, I think like I lost attention, and the performance just gets better and better every time.
Yeah,
because like when he's like going through and like telling what's her name, God, what is her name? The news lady.
Yeah, I don't know.
I won't say Michelle Pfeiffer. I don't think it's Michelle Pfeiffer though.
No,
but he's going through and telling her like the negotiations, and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It's just like so like the performance. Like I don't think he's gonna hurt her because I know he doesn't hurt her.
Fair. I love that movie. And
I love it too.
I find it incredibly thrilling.
I'm so happy it's on your list though.
Yeah, my number 2. I mean, I guess you probably also categorize this as crime, which I don't. Because just because there's crime happening in the background doesn't mean that it's inherently crime. But I went with Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
That was in the 5. I haven't seen it so long.
Oh, okay.
That it was just hard to recall.
Oh, I guess I watched it. I mean, I watched it probably 2 years ago. But it's stuck with me super hard.
Which one?
Pretentious shit. The Fincher one.
Oh, you gotta watch the Norwegian one. That's good. I'm telling you.
I'm sure it is very good.
They made 3 of them. That's how you know it's
good.
Well,
at least they got the sequels because the fucking plebes here didn't go see the American one and didn't make enough money.
No, they did. The girl with the spider web with Lakeith Stanfield and the other lady. That garbage.
Claire Foy?
A garbage.
Which I feel like, I mean, she's got to be in one of your movies coming up. Anyways, maybe not. You forgot about it. Jesus. You love that movie and you forgot about it.
There's so many good movies.
You like talked about that movie for a whole year. Anyways, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, incredibly thrilling to me. Really, really graphic in a lot of different ways. But like the way that the graphicness like gets you invested in the characters to where it's just like, I mean, they own this island with a bunch of crazy rich white people, man. Like, rich white people are like the worst kind of white people. Facts! And there's no telling what they're going to do. So it's thrilling to me, obviously, because of like what they're there investigating and all the like clues they end up tracking down and finding and all that stuff, like inherently thriller. But also just really interesting to see what's going to happen to them at the end. Because it's like they both make it out okay, but then like there's even still that little extra element of like what's going to happen. And then what happens, and it's sad because I liked her. But you're really bummed out now. That was my 3.
I'm really sad too.
That was my 3 and 2. You gonna switch your number 1 out real quick?
No, because it's my number 1. So like to do the list proper justice, we'd have to redo the video. We're not redoing the video. So, this was
You forgot about Unsane.
like, very aggravating. That would have been an easy number one. So Unsane's the real number one. This would be my number two, which is Good Time, because the crime elements doesn't come into the very end, kind of,
Mm-hmm.
Like they break him out of jail, but he just puts himself in such shitty situations that you kind of root for him in the underdog aspect.
Mm.
Like that's where the motivation comes from. That's where your investment comes from, because it's like he's a shitty person, but it's like because of the scene, the tension's there. Like when they're in the fucking pop out spooky ride and the fucking security guard comes in there and it's like, is he going to get caught? Is he going to get caught kidnapping his brother out of the hospital? And these situations just keep piling on top of him. And by the end of this movie, I thought I was having a heart attack.
I'm glad you did it.
And because I was just like, I was having a panic attack. I don't know what it was. I was just like I couldn't stop moving. I was just like, oh my goodness. Like, I was sweating a little bit. Like, this movie's so good because it puts you in these situations and you don't know where because he could have easily got caught in every situation he was put in.
I've never seen it. So.
Oh my goodness. You need to watch it. You know how much I love Coochie.
A lot.
And so she's over. She's like, let's watch something on Netflix. I'm like, boom, I'm trying to get in this Coochie quick. Because, you ain't never been in one before. Like, and that Pacific one. It's a new one. I'm like, all right, I'm trying to get into it quick. You know what I'm saying? So the first, good, decent movie I saw that I've seen before, because I'm not going to have sex to a movie I've never seen before, because you can only watch a movie one time. For the first time, I got rules and standards when it comes to film. Not so much on women, but it's just what it is. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, Good Time, that's a good movie. I've seen it before. I'm about to have a good time ourselves. Perfect title to Netflix and chill to, right? Wrong. Because this movie's so good. The tension in the movie's so good. I got so caught up in the film, I forgot to make a move. I didn't get Coochie till after the 2-hour runtime, because I was like, I'm finishing this movie because it's that good. Mm. And I was like, oh, you're here? Okay, And I did my thing, you know what I'm saying? A little Zuka Lamink. It was a good time. That's how good this movie is. A good thriller will make you forget about some Coochie like that.
I guess.
And my number one was the Zemeckis from earlier, is Gone Girl.
That movie will make you not want to get any Coochie. I'll tell you that. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It's terrifying in a way that only a thriller can be.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I don't know that there's much to say about Gone Girl that hasn't been said already, but it is, in terms of ability to get you invested in a movie, like what you're talking about with Good Time, it is really, really hard to not be, really locked into that movie. It's the kind of movie that kind of makes you forget, where you're at, right?
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Then, because you get so wrapped up into it, and then when it ends, then you, finally come back to reality, or some fucker texts you while you're watching a movie or something, and you hear your cell phone ding, and then you're like, oh, fuck. Yeah, obviously we know what the story is. It's been out for a minute. But the way that it tells it, getting these kind of two perspectives, at least when you hit the point where you find out that she is in fact not dead, and then you get this whole scene of it tells you what happened, but then it still finds ways to amp shit up even more.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so good to me, I think, is because it literally, the mystery that you've been wondering about halfway through the movie, it gives it to you, and then it's
but wait, there's more.
And then shit goes off the rails, man. And the way that shit ends is you don't get to rest.
Yeah.
It does not give you a moment of brevity. It's just the movie ends and that dude is still fucked. And it's permanently thrilling.
It is. One. I mean, you said everything basically. The power that a film can have over you is incredible.
Yeah.
And it being a thriller list of any kind David Fincher had to make it because he is like what thrillers are modern day. So, with that being said, sorry, Don't Breathe. If it was
your
a top,
sequel's coming out. Congratulations.
Yeah, if you was a top 10, you would have made my top 10 of the 2010s. Have you seen that movie?
No, not yet.
It's really good.
Actually, I might have.
It's really good. It's got a turkey baster in it. But
yeah, I have seen that movie. I
I
forgot about that part. But
that's all you gotta say.
Yeah.
But tell us down below in the comment section what's your top 5. Scroll back up, comment. Scroll back up, like the video, share the video, and subscribe.
It's not a game.